Hello, hello, everyone. We are live. Welcome to episode 6 of Blunt and Bossy. I am your host, Sarah McRae, hashtag the Solar Boss. And today my guest is Francesca Tropea Alsop, and she is with Three Way. Look how beautiful she is. Why do I have such beautiful friends? Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
I'd like you to just kind of get started by, kind of giving us an idea of who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. This is awesome. So everybody, my name is Francesca. I own Three Way Personal Training, and Three Way because I love puns, and sexual puns are even better. And you can't forget Three Way. So yeah, that's how we came up with it. But the real reason is there are 3 things that I focus on, and it's mindset, nutrition, and fitness. I think that key before anything is getting that mind right.
Yes.
And coming into this today, part of why I chose this topic was because of the mindset. I noticed there are a lot of parallels between what I do in my own business and what I do with clients. So for example, if I find myself, it's slow right now, I'm struggling, I'm not getting clients I need, or whatever's going on in business, you know what I mean? It fluctuates. And I can sit there and put myself into my clients. I'm not losing the weight, I'm not doing this. And then I say, are you doing the work? And then it falls back on me. Am I doing the work? And so there's so many parallels.
Yes,
I love it. With what I'm talking about, with the self-care is, the mindset and stuff too, it comes like, you've got mindset and self-care, and I have a focus on lifestyles as well. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure your stress levels are down. Those are important to, whatever your composition issues, you're trying to put on muscle, you're trying to lose fat, any of those things are important. And they're important in business as well, So when I first started, I was working at a gym, and before I started working on my own. And when I was on my own, I was listening to, those motivational, the videos on YouTube and stuff. And it's like, you need to get up early in the morning. And when everybody else is doing this, you're doing that. And what I noticed is it's very motivational, it pumps you up. But when you keep applying those things in business, what happens? Burnout. And it's the same thing I tell my clients. If you cannot maintain the methods, you are not going to maintain the results.
Yes.
I've had to apply that to my own life. So
yes, for sure. Definitely. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I was actually a personal trainer at one time. And the first thing that I would always tell my clients is throw away your scale. Stop looking at those numbers every day because you're just torturing yourself. First, focus on what your goal is, and that's to maintain a happy, healthy life. Like, just start making small changes in just the way that you think about your day and the way you handle your stress, as opposed to stepping on that scale and looking at that number that changes so slightly by what you ate or drank, or, just how you live throughout the day. That's big time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So.
Oh yeah. And as women, aren't we?
What's that?
Well, as women, our weight fluctuates so much, and it's really difficult, and it's the same thing with looking at our financial bottom line. It's those numbers sometimes, and sometimes we need to see, it's like those non-scale victories, and it's like, well, what are the other victories that we are bringing into our business that maybe aren't reflected in the bank account at the moment, but you just like this, stepping out of the comfort zone, that's a huge accomplishment, and you can't discount that.
Yes. So. Very much so. So what led you to being, what led you to personal training? Kind of give us a little background on your story and how you got to this point where you're not just helping people with their bodies, but also their mind.
Yeah. Well, to rewind how I got in the first place, I got married at 17 years old in high school. And about a year later had my first baby, and I have 5 kids. And I was a stay-at-home mom, and I homeschooled. And so in the 18 years of my marriage, that was what I did. So after my divorce, everybody said, oh, you've got employable skills. And I was like, but they don't see that. They say, what? Where is your employment history? And I was getting frustrated. I worked at my kids' school for a bit, and I just got depressed. I'm like, what do I do? And I got an email one time from the YMCA because I used to just, work out there. And it was like, hey, a personal training course is coming up. And I said, so here's something funny. My mom was a personal trainer after we kids grew up. My dad's been working out forever, is in fantastic shape. My uncle was a personal trainer and I believe runs a few gyms and was a competitive bodybuilder. So, I lived in that industry, but I remember saying, I don't want to follow in everybody's footsteps. I want to do my own thing. But then I was like, you know what? I was training people for years, even though I was a stay-at-home mom. When I was on social media, I was coaching friends. Now, I didn't have all of the knowledge, but because it was, I still was following some, neuroscience, but I was doing it and I enjoyed it. And people always came to me, how do you stay in shape after 5 kids? And so it just was natural. And I signed up for the course. I got hired at the YMCA. I trained there. But I also had a full gym at home. And as a single mom at that time, I had 4 kids at home. My ex had moved away and it was just me and this big house and all these kids. I was like, how do I do it? How do I balance it all? And so I decided to start training home. And then I studied to become an online trainer, which, 2020, everybody was moving into online training. I was so glad I was already doing it because I was able to help mentor some other coaches in how to train their businesses too. So
you took your business from where you were not just helping your clients, but helping other trainers help their clients via social media through the pandemic. That's really, really awesome. That's like next level right there. That's badass. I love it. No, I think it's really cool that, a lot of people, they think that there's comfort in that 9 to 5. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5 lifestyle whatsoever, because we definitely need people that are doing those things. But I always love whenever I see a mom that finds a way to not only take care of her kids, but take care of her kids at home, like where you can run your business and still be present with your kids. My kids know that, if mommy's doing this with her phone, if I'm taking a picture, this is technically work. If I'm making a YouTube video or whatever it is that I'm doing, that's my office. And so they respect that just like they would if, I was coming home from work or they were calling me while I was at work. So it's really neat. But it is a little bit more difficult because you're having to balance working and taking care of your family throughout the day without this separation of, a workplace. And that's when taking care of your body and maintaining a healthy lifestyle really makes a difference in how your day plays out as well.
Yeah. And it's the whole thing too is I realized that if I was still at the gym, I was missing a lot of dinners and everything. And it's kind of hard to be a nutrition coach. And I'm like, not feeding the kids nutritious meals, so it's nice to be home for them and be able to cook. And we had pizza tonight, but whatever, but it's balanced.
I wouldn't forget pizza dinner.
My daughter wanted to treat us to dinner. So okay. But yeah, it's just, and I still have some of that guilt, if it's like I'm busy working and I can't do something for them that night, it's just balancing everything. It is hard, but I am grateful that I am home.
Yeah,
definitely.
Also, I think we were kind of just chatting about this real quick before we got on here, and you mentioned it earlier too, that like the grind that everyone also expects from entrepreneurs. If you're going to be successful, you got to be the first one awake, and you've got to be up at 5 a.m. and oh, you slept last night? How could you be an entrepreneur? We don't sleep. And I think that a lot of people forget that, especially mothers who are also trying to balance that work life. Like, it's okay to sleep if sleep is what you need. It's okay to take a break and say, today I'm not working. I am going to just spend the entire day with my children, or I'm not going to reply to messages on social media. I'm going to take a step back for a bit and just be present with my family. It's a little harder sometimes when social media is your business.
Oh yeah. And that was, 2020 was so difficult because of that, because I noticed that, well, I've lived places where I've gone through natural disasters. And when that's going on, the rest of the country, the rest of the world is, an outsider looking in. Oh, you went through that, but your community is united, but everybody else is just looking at it from a distance. With 2020, everything that went on, sure, there was a lot of division and political beliefs and this and that, but at the same time, we were so united and we were going through the same thing. And the reason that was important was when I coach people, sometimes, they're like, hey, I gotta let you know, I didn't do anything all week. There was a death in the family. I've just been really down. And, we can still relate sometimes, like, yeah, I've gone through, some crap, so I understand. But this was like, they're going through it and we're going through it. And so normally it's like, for me, and I'm just kind of consoling them through it, and helping them. This was like, I'm suffering too, because I've got my own crap going on. And how do I use that to relate to them? And at the same time, everything I'm telling them, I have to do myself, because I have to walk the walk. So if I'm telling them to take care of themselves, I need to do it as well. But the problem was there were so many times I'm done with Facebook. I'm done. And then I'm like, oh, my business is on here. What do I do? And it's really hard. So for a while, I would just post on my page and my business page, stay off the news feed. Maybe when I first click on, just, oh, that's a good comment on that first one. But I'm like, everybody probably thinks like, why should she not comment on my stuff anymore? But it was for my own self-care. You've got to take care of your mental health. And obviously we've seen it, stuff hasn't, and but I guess maybe because I can, I can't tell anybody what to do, but I can say, look, things are still going on, obviously, after, how last week went. We're still not over the pandemic. If you need to take care of yourself moving forward, maybe you didn't do as good a job last year and you're still suffering, but now looking forward, just kind of take stock of your life and your priorities. And, if spending more time with your kids is important, or taking a day off work, because you cannot run yourself into the ground. You can't maintain that. You might be really successful for a while because you're working so hard, but you need to take care of.
Definitely.
So from here, like, yeah,
includes,
take stock of that.
Body, like mental health, for sure. Yeah.
And a lot of people I know too were falling into, oh, I'm drinking a lot, I'm eating a lot because I'm so depressed. And it's like, I understand it. I don't want to tell people I don't get it, but at the same time, maybe channel that into more positive activities that are still getting that kind of emotion out, so being physical.
I think that more people need to understand the importance of, going to the gym or doing physical activity, not in the sense of I'm trying to lose weight or I want my body to look better. It's not that always, it goes further than that. It goes to taking care of this, this vessel that is getting you through the day, every single day for the rest of your life. And there is not one that's going to replace it. It's the only one you have. And so, it goes back to, you have to build your mental strength as well, and know that just because, yes, maybe today it's snowing in Texas and you don't want to go to the gym. Yeah. Don't beat yourself up, but know that tomorrow, go take care of yourself. Be conscious of what you're putting in your body and how you're fueling your body throughout the day. I think a lot of people neglect that, and during the tough times, they go to other substances or, junk food or whatever it is. And it's, it's actually kind of counterproductive to what, you're trying to do with life. Is
it feels good in the moment. Yeah. In the moment it's good, but in the run just feel worse. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are days where I tell myself, like, the gym, just getting there is step one. Whether I get in the gym and I have like a badass workout, or I walk on the treadmill on a one setting and I'm just there and I'm moving, whatever it may be, because me and my son, we've become gym partners, and I love that he's kind of, he's my buddy now. And when I have my days where I'm not feeling it, but there are days where you get there and you're not really feeling it, but the next day I feel so much better about myself because I did one small goal, and that was getting my butt out and I did something, and during these times, more people need to understand that it's not about getting to the gym and being the buffest person or the strongest person or the fastest person. It's about just getting up and loving your body and taking care of it.
Yep. And I also like setting goals that aren't, just about appearance, because there's nothing that feels better than conquering some badass goal that you couldn't do before, running faster or a further distance than you've done in the past, or lifting something you couldn't before. Set like those kind of goals and watch yourself. And that's good for the mind. So yeah.
Yes, for sure. Definitely. I've been trying to step up my cardio a little bit through all this because the sweets have been more tempting with this cold weather.
Yeah, keep it warm.
So what are some things that you like as far as when you're training a client and you're trying to, because not everyone has that, goal setting mindset, or even, a lot of people are dealing with negative self-talk on a regular basis, which is, it's tough to fight sometimes. So what are some of the ways that you help your clients, focus more on mindset and, setting goals? And what are some ways you help them do that?
I mean, part of my vetting process is really making sure that people are ready. So that kind of helps. Mm-hmm. So when I first meet with them, it's just kind of making sure that they want to really make the changes, because that is the biggest hang up. One of the hardest things is when a friend wants to hire me. And so obviously I want to help them, and I haven't really, gone through all that, but they're not ready and it's hard. You want to help them. And the one thing is we all want what we want, but we don't want to necessarily do the stuff to get us there. And so that's where I kind of have to interview them first and see. But some people pass the test, they get through, and then I'm like, ooh, yeah, because the problem is they were, ready, but then what happens? Life happens. Mm-hmm. They miss a couple workouts. They start to, maybe they don't want to tell me because they're ashamed. There is a huge shame issue with that, admitting that you messed up. I paid this person to help me and I'm not doing it. So really it's just reaching out and, hey, what can I do for you? And another thing with business is you need to set boundaries, and a schedule's super important. And I have a hard time with that, because when you work online like this, I have people that need to reach out to me at all hours because they're different time zones. And so I try to establish those sort of time boundaries, like, well, I'm not going to always work at these hours, but there's times I'm getting ready to lay in bed and I hear texts come through and it's like, hey, I had to work really late today, so I'm getting to bed kind of late. I don't want to be able to go to the gym in the morning. They're reaching out. They need help. So I'm not going to say, nope, sorry, office hours are closed. So yeah, and that's just, I'll take a moment, So it's like when in the nature of what I do, it's those boundaries. Sometimes I have to be flexible, but at the same time, we do kind of office hours are important. And I make sure that if and I have the flexibility to take, you know what, the kids are off on a Tuesday, let's go to a state park or something. So then I say, well, I'm not going to on a Tuesday, for example. I make sure my clients know I'm going to be at a park. There may not be much coverage. If you need anything, is there anything I could do for you right now? Stuff like that. So I make sure to communicate both ways. But yeah, just as far as helping them through mindset issues, it's definitely like I tell them in the beginning, communication is probably the biggest thing we're gonna have on here, because I'm gonna reach out to you and I need to know that you're gonna be responding to me, because it's super important. I can't help you with me, and it's really just that. And then once that's established, it's email, phone calls, text, whatever it is, and it's a lot of back and forth, just helping people work through those things. And I don't always have the answers, but sometimes they just need somebody to do,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's super important in especially if you're running a business online, is setting healthy boundaries on response time. Because I know I've been in industries where it is a 24-hour emergency type service and your phone has to be on at all times and you have to be ready to, I used to do fire and flood restoration services. So I had to be ready.
Okay.
If somebody's house caught on fire, my company had to be ready to go out there and help assess the damages and start setting, containments and whatever it may be. And when I stepped out of that industry, I had gotten so accustomed to like text message, ding, you answer it right away, you respond right away, to, social media businesses where, that ding is almost like a trigger where immediately people respond, and it's almost kind of makes it difficult because you want to just kind of be responsive to your people, but you also want to set healthy boundaries where if someone is just messaging it to chat with you at 10 p.m. at night, they are not expecting you to reply because you've already, set your boundaries that, I'm available from these times and I'm not going to just, talk to you about how your day is going outside of business at 10 o'clock at night. I think we have a lag. Well, I think we lost Francesca. Her screen seems frozen. We will go ahead and end this episode and carry on with another conversation at another time. Thank you, Francesca, so much for your input and your information. If anyone is looking for a virtual personal trainer, you will definitely want to reach out to her. She could give you some assistance.